Not going with them. It's kind of like the dog drives us all the way here.
Yeah.
Because ever since the year sick. Yeah, no, not that bad.
She got married at her age, and you didn't invite me?
Okay.
Went
out.
on the beach. And
Went out.
So they didn't really flying for a week.
Oh, my God.
6:30. Okay. Okay. It is time. It's 6:30, everyone. Thanks again for joining us today. It's December 11th, 2023. This is the City of Hayes City Council meeting. We'll get started. So we have a few people out, a few people on Zoom call. We're gonna do like we did last session and skip around to the people so they can get off. And then Mr. Davis asked me to go around the public comments and get around to Mr. Katz first, and then we'll get back to public comments. I think he's the only one that has a public comment, unless anyone online would like to make a public comment. We'll get to that a little later. So please kind of just bear with me on the reshuffling. But let's get started. So we'll start with agenda item 1, call to order and roll call. I'm Bill Mayfield.
Roxanne O'Neill.
Lydia Bryan Lopez.
Candace Blake.
Linnell Strawn.
Cynthia McCall.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll close that agenda item out and we'll move on to agenda item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, sorry, one more thing to note, the recorder, I can't get it to I can't set the date and the time, so we will not be recording on this today unless someone else knows how to do that. We've been playing around with it for the last half hour. So the Zoom will be the official recorder for this meeting. Just to let everyone know that. Okay, so, all right. So Mr. Katz, I see you around. We're gonna skip down in order to your items. We'll start with 4C. Discuss and take appropriate action regarding a petition for release of land from the extraterritorial jurisdiction of the City of Hayes from TWC-1626 LLC. B, take appropriate action on request from TWC-1626 LLC to execute a resolution to release 22.465 acres from the city's ETJ.
Okay, question. Is that the, what used to be Greystone? Is that the Greystone development?
Oh, Big Valley.
Big Valley
Valley.
now, okay.
I have a question on the ETJ release. I mean, I looked at the petition and it says exhibits, and I look for the exhibits and they're not labeled. So I was kind of confused which goes with what. And item number 2, the exhibit about the land, the 22 acres. Part of his land falls in the City of Austin ETJ. So should we correct his drawing to show that our ETJ and the field road description along the ETJ is only releasing what's in the City of Hayes, not in the City of Austin? I mean, the way it reads, we're releasing the whole 22 acres, and we can't do that because part of the plan is in the City of Austin ETJ.
Okay, let's have Mr. Katz speak on it first. Let's hear what he has to say, and then maybe that'll answer some questions. If not, then let's resume more questions.
Hey, Mayor, Council, can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, hold on. Sorry, let me see if the speaker. What is that? Okay. That's that.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Is it real tech audio? Okay. I don't think that port is working. Let me try this one. Do a mic check real quick. Cats.
Yeah, can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, good. Great. Okay, let's continue.
Okay. So I apologize for requesting this, but I'm gonna request that we go into executive session under the consultation with attorney executive session exception. Because there's a bit of an update about litigation that I'd like to brief the council on in executive session, if that's all right with you, Mayor.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, okay.
So if you guys want to give me a phone call on my cell phone, I can join you that way.
Great. All right. I am.
Okay.
Does our post say that we can go into executive session?
Yeah, it's
There it is down here.
Okay.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can
everyone.
under 551.071 at any time.
It is 6:35. I am halting this regular council meeting to go into executive session. It's 6:36. Pausing now. Hey, everyone, thank you for being so patient with us at 6:57. Council has just finished the executive session. We will resume a regular city council meeting. Time is 6:57. All right. Thank you. So we just had a discussion on 4C, A, and B, and so council has made a decision, so I would suggest a motion for CA and CB. If someone can make a motion.
I make the motion to table 4C and A and B.
All right, motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Roxanne seconds the motion. Motion has been made. We'll take this to a council vote. All in favor?
A.
All in favor? Okay. We're gonna skip down to 5. Unfinished business. 5G, receive updates and take appropriate action regarding Hayes Commons development application to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, create a municipal utility district within the city of Hayes, former ETJ. Mr. Katz?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The update is that there's no real update here. As you all know, the city of Hayes filed a protest of this application by Milestone to create the municipal utility district. That protest has not, and the application by Milestone to create the MUD has not yet been referred to the State Office of Administrative Hearings. But that should be the next step, is that the TCEQ will determine who the parties are and then refer the MUD application over to the State Office of Administrative Hearings for a contested case hearing on that application. But that hasn't happened yet, so I'll let you guys know when it has.
Okay, I have a question on that, Josh. Will the
Sure.
TCEQ notify all of the residents within 200 feet of that boundary for the proposed wastewater treatment plant?
I believe that notice would have already happened. That would be when the application was filed and then notice was published. So what comes next is that the folks that asked to be a party in the application to create this MUD, those folks will get notice when the MUD application is sent over to the administrative court for a hearing on whether the MUD should be created or not. So anyone that filed a protest letter saying, I want to be a party, I'm affected by this, I want to be part of the proceeding should get notified, yes, when that happens.
Absolutely, thank you.
When did the notices
It
come?
was quite a while ago, yeah.
Would have been in September.
Yeah. Yeah, is there any council, is there any questions on this? No action, really just an update on that, so. If there are no questions, I'll go ahead and close 5G out. And we will skip down to Mr. Pett's final agenda topic. 5L, receive update and take appropriate action regarding a petition filed by Milestone with the Public Utility Commission, PUC, for release from a portion of the city's water certificate of convenience in the city, CCN.
Thank you, Mayor. There's not much to update the council on this item either. We had some discussion at previous meetings about trying to reach a settlement of this application by Milestone to remove its property from the city's water CCN. We've not been successful in getting an acceptable offer from Milestone, and I have not received any new counter offers to our previous counter offer to their initial offer. What will happen next is that there will be a valuation phase where the PUC, the Public Utility Commission, will determine what the amount of compensation is owed to the city of Hayes if they grant Milestone's application to take their property out of the city's water CCN. When that happens, I'll come to the council because we'll have two choices. We can either we could reach an agreement on an appraiser with Milestone, and if we use that appraiser, then Milestone would pay for the appraiser's fee, and basically that appraiser would develop a single evaluation of how much compensation is owed to the city. And the other option is that if we don't agree on an appraiser, then Milestone would pick their own appraiser and the city could pick its own appraiser. Each side pays their own fees to that appraiser, and then submits that appraisal to the PUC, and the PUC essentially will decide which one they find to be more credible and pick the amount of compensation that's owed. But just to be clear, we're not quite at that point yet.
What is the timeline for that? Do you have any timeline?
I'd have to go. I've got it in an order that was issued, but I think it will probably be underway in January. It should be fairly shortly for the valuation phase.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll close this out, and I think Mr. Katz, that's all we need you for. If we have anything else we'll run into, we call back.
Of course. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I appreciate you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Davis, I'll just start back at the top. Public comments. Well, agenda item 3, public comments. Comments will be taken from the audience on agenda or non-agenda related topics. The council will make no comments and take no action during public comments. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes. Got a card right here, Mr. Davis. You can go ahead.
I have 2 items. One, I talked to Don this morning. I hadn't talked to him in a couple of weeks, and he informed me that his wife was in the 10th day of being in ICU, so he hadn't done anything for the last couple of weeks. But he says she's doing better and will shortly be going to rehab. So he gave me short information about the city engineer's agenda items, which I'll address when we get to those items. The second thing is, I think most, or hopefully all of y'all got an invitation to a Christmas party of PGMS. And I have, my wife and I accepted the invitation, and I wanted to explain that this is, in my opinion, totally appropriate. When I worked at Travis County we often went to, I was an investment officer. So we had broker dealers, and then I was in charge of the Housing Finance Corporation. So I was with affordable housing, both of which have had lots of scandals of involving people and employees of government. But our practice was if we went out to a lunch or something like that, we went Dutch. But if they had like we go to a conference and they would have some event in the conference, sponsored by Merrill Lynch or somebody like that, we would go and we would accept refreshments and things like that. And this is the same thing with PGMS. I mean, they're and they haven't. I went to it once when I was the mayor, and it's real nice. And I think these are nice events to go to because they give you the opportunity to meet people maybe that you've only talked to on the phone, or you just know a little bit, and you get to meet the owner of PGMS, Patrick, and some of their employees that, of course, in our case, we deal with, and I think it's at their office in Dripping Springs. So, and another thing is like Texas Disposal System. I've been out to their place. They've invited, when I was the mayor, and invited us and other city officials out to see their animal deal out there, and they served a little dinner, and again, that was totally appropriate. But their representative, he would invite me to lunch. Well, I went to lunch with him, but we went Dutch. So, that was kind of the dividing line. And so I just wanted to tell you all that I'm planning to go on December 16th and look forward to it.
All right. Hannah Blewett, your hand is up. Would you like to make a public comment?
Yes. So I was looking at the letter that went out in the last bill regarding the trash day. And I noticed that it said that y'all plan to have 2 trash cans on one in one spot. And I personally think that that's a bad idea. And the reason why is that the way that the trucks park the trash cans, they have to back in because the door is on the back end. So if you have 2 side by side and the doors swing out the way that they do, there is going to be no access to that trash can unless somebody enters either my property or the property. If it's at the other well property, then they would have to enter I forget their names who live right there, because the way that the doors and the bins are shaped. And if you park them, if you have them put them parallel to the road, then that's going to create traffic and blockage in the road, which I think is dangerous given the number of people that walk in our roads. So I personally think that it's a terrible idea to have 2 trash cans side by side. I think I would suggest that city council either just have one bin and do it 3 times a year, or just have one bin since they rarely get filled fully each time. But I think that the logistics of having 2 bins side by side on one property really does not work if you know how they open and if you know how they're dropped off.
Well,
That's all.
I know TDS.
Well. Okay,
Take it into consideration.
yep. Is that it, Hannah?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. All right, is there any other public comments? Okay, I think we're good there. Okay, moving down, back to 4A, receive and take appropriate action on the November 2023 financial report.
Thank you, and this is a financial report, shows the balance sheet at November 30th. revenue and expenses for the 2 months ended November 30th. A lot of this year, our new year starts October 1st. It shows we are money in Broadway Bank decreased by $30,000, or a little less than 30,000. And the expenses were larger than revenue by $13,254. And, water revenues were down sharply, especially in November. Which, was the, suggested it might be due to the rains and people not watering a lot.
Sure, yeah.
And that these statements were prepared on the cash basis, except for water revenue. And do you all know kind of the difference between the cash and the accrual basis in accounting? And because, for example, there were expenses that were paid in September. They were really, in October, they were really September expenses, so those were included there. But on these cash basis, they were shown as October expenses, because they were paid in October. So, what we'll do for the rest of the years on these monthly statements is do them on the cash basis, because it's just too difficult to approve things on each month. And then at the end of the year, we'll reverse that accrual entry we made for last year, and then do the accruals for the end of this year. That makes sense to you all. I've also prepared this sheet that I gave you tonight that just shows you some figures that are interesting over the last 10 years. And you can see what, like for water operations, you can see in FY23 water operations, and this is primarily money's paid to PGMS. That's 115,000, which is above the other years, but this is the year where they took over City of Hayes, and so I would attribute that to it. But you can see it's gone up a lot. The water sales to in FY23 was almost 237,000, and you can see it's gone up a little bit, but it's not really much over 10 years, because we never have raised rates, and so we've had higher costs with PGMS, but we're not hadn't significantly raised rates. We've now raised rates that started in December, but it's not, in my opinion, large enough rates to help us out a whole lot, but will help out some. So that's interesting. And you see on professional fees, FY23, 94,631, and that's a big figure. And there was a big figure in FY21 and FY22, but most of that was reimbursed. We got that large reimbursement from Bill Walters for all those fees. So, professional fees, we do have to, and I think we all would like having Josh be on Zoom instead of come here like that. So makes a big difference. So, anyways, any questions you have on my report?
This is very helpful, Mayor Harvey. Thank you for putting this together for us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The other questions from council? Okay. Okay, we're close for A out. We're gonna move on to 4B. Take action to approve the minutes for November 13th, regular city council meeting. Everyone had a chance to take a look at this and there's no sessions about modifications, so if everyone's okay, I would suggest a motion to approve the November 13th regular city council meeting.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for November 13th, 2023. The regular council meeting took place on November 13th.
Motion has been made and Lydia has seconded it. We'll take this to a council vote. All in favor? All in favor? Great. Okay. And then I'm gonna sign this right here. That's for you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, moving down to 4D. Consider and take appropriate action on request to approve part-time employee policy. The backup is right here, highlighted in orange, with the orange on 4D. So everyone has had a chance to look at that. Some of us have seen the back and forth. For cats. And then also the correspondence of Mr. Davis looking to other smaller cities and some larger cities as well, so you see what they do. And
Yeah, I'll say that, I asked several small cities around here for their policy on part-time, full-time employees, and really kind of surprising to me that most of them don't have one. They were just like us. But the Hayes County sent me their information, which gave me and they send it in a body of an email, so it's very easy to copy and paste to Word. So it gave me a means of starting to prepare a document. So I prepared a document and then I sent it to Mr. Katz, and he added appropriate legal language in here about, if the employees are at will and all other stuff that should be in a policy. We have different classifications, full-time, part-time, less of a part-time. Both Cynthia and myself are in the category of people that work 10 to 19 hours a week. So we work less than 20 hours a week. And that means that the city does not have to provide retirement, does not have to provide health insurance. One of the things I have here is employee costs in 2023. This last year was $44,827. That's amount paid to the employees plus payroll taxes. And then in FY20, it was 66,423, and that was.
Was that in 22 or 20?
That's FY20. Yeah, you can see on that chart. I list all of them. I just chose the highest one.
That's one employee.
That's one full-time employee, but was paying retirement. Did not pay health insurance. So the city didn't have to pay health insurance, which would have kicked it up a lot. For that employee, we had one part-time employee, and we had lower cost of the employment unit. I do have that in your chart, and she was paid like in the 30s. And a lot of it was employee benefits. We paid her health insurance. And that was very, in her case, it was very important. So, but we've never had a policy, well, do you get paid vacation? Do you get paid on holidays? And I don't think they've been paid except for this year. We have paid for holidays. So what we're suggesting is on vacation, this would be the chart of employees working 10 to 19 hours. The first year would be 1 hour a month. And year 1 through 4, 2 hours a month vacation. And then on sick leave, it would be 2 hours. It would be 2 hours per month of sick leave. And then the vacation gave you a chart of how many holiday pays there are for Hayes County and City of Buda. And I think one was like 12 and 14. I'm not sure. I had to mark down
16,
16 and 14.
14, and then is this what you're proposing?
Yeah, and this is what I suggested for us, the city employees, is 11. You know, there could be usually you have both Hayes County and Buda have a couple of days at Thanksgiving and Christmas. I put down just one. Hayes County gives them 3 days. Generous, but so that's kind of, to me, kind of the heart of the matter. And this would be our suggestion. Change them, accept them, or whatever, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Council, do you have any questions? Lydia?
Thank you, Mayor Harvey, for doing this for us. I think it's absolutely the right thing to do to take care of staff that help us. And most definitely with the progress that we've seen in the last year, we can't thank y'all enough. It's night and day. This is daytime now. Everything looks great. And I fully believe that these benefits are fair and warranted. They should be provided for our staff. I couldn't agree more.
And you know, if you accept this, it would be like sick pay and vacation that start today. Is that retroactive? Like I said.
Retroactive to which day? Retroactive for December, retroactive. Normally,
Or to
it would be for
retroactive.
the day we pass it forward. Or, right.
Yeah.
Normally it starts from the day we make the decision, but I'm
Yeah.
open to anyone's suggestion.
What's the easiest thing to do would be for December, right? What they were in December. 11?
You can
Yes.
take it retro to December 1, but if you go
December.
back to date of hire, then that's different too.
Yeah, I think that would complicate.
How would it be like bookkeeping?
So,
We have an excellent bookkeeper.
what else
Keep
did
the
you,
books
did you
somewhere.
have a
I think for the now.
Yeah, just, I don't have any questions in regards to the vacation or holidays. It's just that the document needs to be cleaned up a little bit because it references Hayes County and department heads
Mhm.
in there and
Those are oranges with us.
yeah, that,
Yeah,
and it
So since it was a template, we need to. make
Hayes
the
County
template
holidays will be determined by the Hayes
ours, yeah,
County.
ours. We just need to make the template City of Hayes.
yeah. I'll make those changes if you spotted some. It's in. That would be helpful, and I'll certainly make those.
yeah, so I guess if there's no other like comments on this, I would suggest a motion. Pass this as is pending cursory review from all council members by next week, right? So let's look at this, see any small things that we need crossed out. they just make those comments, get them, looked at by Mr. Katz, and then we can start this today moving forward.
Maybe December 1st.
December 1st, we can do December 1st, okay? And so that would be my suggestion, so. If everyone's good with that.
What are your thoughts on that, Mayor?
But
What are your thoughts on the start date?
December 1st makes sense.
December 1st.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I'd like to file a motion to accept the proposal provided for part-time staff, City of Hayes, Texas, part-time employee status benefits. Only that we need to make minor revisions to make the template our own. To make minor corrections as recommended by the NAR and attorney review. First review by the staff, by the council members. That we accept it once that's done, December 1st, 2023.
I'm second.
Okay, motion has been made by Lydia. Been seconded by Roxanne. We'll take this to a council vote. All in favor? All in favor?
And we appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. We
Well,
appreciate
we
it.
all appreciate it.
It's hard work.
You've come such a long way in the last year. I can't tell you how nice it is to take a breath and, know that everything is handled. Every time I drive by, I see Cynthia's car in the driveway, and it just gives me such a good feeling. It's like, yes.
I know every time I
we
call
got
Mayor Harvey,
Someone dependable, who's doing the work.
Mayor Harvey gets back to us right away as
It
well.
makes
Every
a
time we
huge
question.
difference. That's
Much
it.
appreciated.
Getting the documents ready for us and everything, it's just been really, really good. I can't thank you both enough.
Well, appreciate it.
Yes, we have.
Just wish the dog across the street would get used to me.
Oh, no, he's not gonna have it. We've tried
He's
everything.
really sweet,
That way
but
he'll
he
let you know
barks.
when someone's coming.
So after all of that's done and executed, can you get this posted somewhere on the wall, like right there or somewhere there?
Post it on the website.
Yeah, well, I'd like one to hear too, one copy and then also
Okay.
on the
So we'll
website too
notice.
as well, so.
Okay, these things go on. I do want to add one thing. When I started working, August, September, thought this was gonna be short-time deal. And I thought, oh, well, the audit's finished and now everything's gonna, well, never had. But I am 78 years old and one day that you need to get a new treasurer.
It'll be very hard.
I don't want to look forward.
How about around the 90th birthday? Give us some time, Mayor Harvey.
Oh, my God.
85th.
Don't you get a
They say you always need to train your replacement, so.
Succession planning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always wanna be, have somebody.
Oh, Billy, you're one this guy.
Not that good, yeah.
That's the
Anyway,
PA.
Thank you.
I add, subtract, yeah, I just,
Thank you, Mayor Harvey.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Closing out 4D, we're gonna move on. 4E, take action regarding brushing Englewood Wolf site. Okay. All right, so this was brought up by citizen and has wildlife out there. And Hannah, if you want to speak on this, you got a few minutes to speak on this certain agenda topic. To discuss what's going on there. She has graciously agreed to do it herself, or we can pay someone to.
I think we
take a
should
look at
hire
this.
someone to do
Yeah,
it.
so,
Landscaping.
yeah, Hannah, did you want to talk about that? We've got, and to be clear, I sent your text message and we've got that in front of everyone, so there's a couple pictures here too as well.
Yeah. So basically what I'm asking for is that basically anything, all the brush that's around there, that's about the size of a man's thumb, to be cut out. So I'm not talking about cutting out any trees or any significantly sized shrubs, but basically we are under severe coyote attacks. We are having multiple. Should I keep talking?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
We are having multiple coyote attacks per week. Most recently, we're having 2 coyotes attack. They are increasing the frequency of attacks, and they are increasing in the number of coyotes. The attacks are happening at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 12 p.m. We had 2 in one day. We had one at 8 a.m. and then we had one at 1 p.m. They are adapting their strategies. They are coming in faster and with more coyotes. This is happening in broad daylight in the middle of the day. I can take any of y'all out there and show you the path through the grass that they are taking. They're basically coming from the property across from the well where all that bamboo is. They're coming through there. They're going behind the well, and then they are running straight through my property. They are becoming less afraid of people. One of them actually jumped Paul's fence and ran past his son while his son was on the riding mower in broad daylight while everybody was outside. This is presenting a danger for me and my household, but it's also a danger to everybody who walks their dogs during the day. My neighbor across the street just had a baby. The people that live on the other side of the well, they have 2 small children and some small dogs. These coyotes are getting bolder and bolder. And so I think that by cutting out the small brush, and like I said, I don't mean anything bigger than the size of a man's thumb, it would take out a lot of their hiding spots, and it would discourage them from coming through here. This is the center of the neighborhood. We are on the center block of the entire neighborhood, and the fact that there are multiple coyotes hunting throughout the day is dangerous for everybody. And like Billy said, I'm willing to go out there and cut all the small brush out and burn it myself. That's really not a big deal to me. I'm just very concerned for safety purposes of my own household. And they're becoming less afraid of people too. Like I said, they ran right past Paul while his son was on the mower. Sometimes they just stop and watch me when I go out there and try and chase them off. And I can see them sometimes standing in that brush, just watching to calculate their attack. One day there was one on a Saturday morning at almost 9 a.m. standing in the middle of my front yard. This is when people are already walking down the street, and this coyote was just standing there. And so it's personally very important to me that we clear out some of that brush. Personally, I mean, I love wildlife and I want to keep it, in the area, but I also don't want it actively hunting my yard, which is what's currently happening right now. So yeah, that's basically it.
Can I speak on this? Because I'm very, very familiar. Is it the huge coyote, about 100 pounds, and his mate about 60 pounds?
It could be, I haven't personally identified if it's a male and a female, but there have been 2, and they've changed their hunting tactics. So I'm worried that they might come back with more, honestly.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them. I know where they live. They live in Sam Alexander's, right next to his metal barn where all the junk cars and tractors that he has. And I have seen them, I've heard them. They are not afraid. The male is about 100 pounds. He's so big, I thought it was a wolf. He's huge. And because the foxes, and I have to say that, I've had foxes that are pretty tame. They've lived out there for years. I could stand in my yard and call them by name and they would come. The foxes are gone, and I don't know why. Either they moved out because of the coyotes, or someone trapped them, relocated them, or worse. But the fact that that field is out of balance now, the foxes, because there were so many of them, would keep the coyotes away. And they ate all the snakes and rats. And now they're gone. And I would think that if they were running from the coyotes, they would be back, and they have not. And I'm heartbroken. But it does show you how you interrupt the balance of this little small area, which was a refuge for these foxes. I mean, for years, if yes, I would feed them, but I would call them by name. They would come within 5 feet of me and I'd put food out. This went on for years. And if I didn't feed them, they'd come in the yard and look for me. Hannah, you've seen them, you know, when I had you guys over, and Lydia has seen them. But now we've got this coyote problem. And do you think that maybe they should be trapped and relocated?
Yeah, so we'll talk about just a brush right now.
Okay.
And if that doesn't stop the problem, we'll have to make another agenda item for
Okay.
possible removal of the coyotes.
And,
So,
and the problem also is between Lois Wright's house and her son's house, where they cleared out that bamboo to put that fence, that created the perfect pathway, you know, for them to come. Because yeah, I've seen them come that way.
So they're running. I've seen them run. So they run in between your neighbor Jordan Kyle's house and Lois's house, and on the other side where they did clear out the fence. And like on the well property, there is a clear worn grass path from where they're crossing the road right there. And then they're hanging out in that brush because it offers a lot of protection before they start an attack on my property. And I know that y'all don't care about my chickens, but I do, but they've killed 2 already. But the fact that they are coming more and more frequently during the day and hunting, it makes me concerned for people like Candace walking little Ricky, and you know, my Kyle and Jordan just had a baby. There's just a lot of little kids on this street. And it's concerning. So I'm offering to clear it for you know, at no charge to the city, and burning that. And like I said, I'm not talking about clearing trees. I'm just talking about clearing that scraggly brush that they're hiding in.
Well, I commend you for offering to do that. I don't know if, you know, the city can afford to get our landscape service to do that.
We're talking about the well property lot, right?
yeah, so behind the well.
Yeah. Can I make a motion?
And the Sweets property.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that we hire a landscaper to cut that lot.
But you know, it's not just the well property too, the brushes between the Sweets property and the well property. But it's also, like I said, between Kyle's house, Lois's house.
But we can't cut
We
anything
can only
else.
do what's ours.
so
We
we can
can
only
only do it with our property.
So
Maybe we can send them a letter and say we trim the brush for safety.
we can't really tell people what to do.
Right,
on
right.
that property.
We
So
can tell, we
what
can,
we can do is we can get a quote. I mean, it doesn't exceed whatever amount, get the brush cleared, and then if that doesn't help, then we can have further discussions about possible trapping and removal of the coyotes. So we're having a conversation here. It's not supposed to be a conversation with a citizen. We can, you know, if you all are interested, give Hannah a call. She could probably explain it more in depth. Or, you know, if you want to go take a look at it, go over there, check it out. But, you know, I think right now, let's stick to the agenda item. Can we clear this? I think we probably figure out, you know, some expenditures in the budget. And so that would be my suggestion, to approve a not to exceed amount for cutting the brush, and we'll see where we're at by next council meeting. So,
Great to be done timely.
Yep.
Before it takes a child or a dog or something else.
Well, my question would be, which would Hannah prefer?
well,
To go ahead and clean it up, or to have the city hire somebody?
it's not, in my opinion, it's not her decision, it's the city's, it's the city's property, right? She's a
Right,
private
it should be our-
citizen. So there, yeah,
I believe we should do it.
we need to do it. If we are going to do it, the city needs to do it, not a private citizen.
Should be the city.
So council members, if that's okay, I would suggest, a not to exceed, what do you think? Probably $1,000?
Well, we don't know,
How much are we talking about? How much land?
the whole lot, I'm thinking about
It's not that bad. Yeah,
Quarter acre.
not too bad.
quarter
so-
acre.
It's a quarter acre, but it's also extremely dense. So I think that saying $1,000 would be
$2,000.
highly optimistic. I think you're probably talking more like $3,000 to $5,000 personally, given how dense it is. Because I have chased the coyotes through there and walked through it, and it is extremely dense.
Or was it, so what's the value of a life for someone's dog, or
Yeah.
if we have to do it not to exceed $3,000, then that's.
Well,
be
we
it.
can get three bids and then we can,
we have time for
Three
that.
bids with.
when winter's coming and all the foliage and everything's gonna die.
Even if we
so-
call, maybe if we call them, but do we have anyone already?
We
Uh,
do, we have,
Pioneer
yeah.
Landscape.
So why don't we approve Mr. Davis to get Pioneer Landscape, so let's say not to exceed 5,000. I'm sure it won't exceed
It's
5,000.
gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
With us.
yeah. So,
It's gone for 3 weeks.
I have no idea.
that good enough, not to exceed 5,000? Do we?
Wow.
I think it would cost that much. It's so warm. See what they say, you know?
No, so go
We
three.
should really tell them what we're.
No. She's telling me, she just should tell them how much would it cost. And that's the one that does, we do business all the time, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a list of services and say per acre or what are clearing.
I had all the trees in my yard just trimmed.
Right.
It was 22 trees and they charged me 3,000.
Yeah.
So
It's not.
It doesn't, it's not, yeah.
Actually, it's not, so Mr. Davis, you have your hand raised.
Well, they charge us $400 to mow all the property in the city and all the property we have at Elliott Ranch, which is
Very reasonable.
reasonable. So
Yes.
5,000 is.
Too much.
Maybe not to exceed 3,500. See 4,000.
yeah, let's take it lower and see what they say.
But
There's,
we'll just have to take them over there and look at it. I've never been over there.
Yeah.
Now I'm afraid to go over there.
Okay, so I suggest a motion not to exceed 35. Great.
Can we do it as quickly as possible
Quickly as possible. yeah.
tomorrow,
Yes.
next day?
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion to approve to get an estimate or
Not to exceed.
to approve funding to not to exceed $3,500 to clear the brush near the Tanglewood well site.
Motion has been made.
I'll second
now. The seconds, take this to a council vote, all in favor? All in favor, thank you.
I'll buy that day with my little bitty dog.
Okay, moving on to 4F, discuss and take appropriate action regarding the May 4th, 2023 election.
Well, this is more of an update. I don't think any action is needed. But we have an election every year. Either Cynthia or myself or election experts, and it's like the budget, it's kind of a minefield. You gotta do certain things, make sure that proper notices are made. That you make sure every candidate is qualified. And posting, so I posted something on the internet. On the city's website. And both Cynthia and I have taken a course. That was really kind of a disappointment. But by the City Clerks Association. So we're gonna take other courses. Cynthia's the one, she's the election clerk, so it's all, she's gotta learn things but I'm gonna learn so I can be helpful to her.
You also get this out in a letter to, the billing, that is happening.
Yeah, I put something in the face happening, right? Yeah,
Don't we get a thing from the Secretary of State's office or whatever that spells it all exact? I mean,
yeah, the Secretary of State is pretty helpful. And there are courses that they have, and of course, they're free. There's one course that, it's an in-person course, kind of a basic one, which is of course what we need, in Denton, Texas, that I suggested that Cynthia might want to go to, you know, it's a one-day course.
It's really, it's just January, you don't know with the weather and everything.
Yeah.
Second snow.
So
It's
I
pretty hard
wouldn't
to
be going because I can't leave town. So anyways, we're trying to get on top of it because it's a little more than a month before filing season starts. And I've also made contact with our attorney, told him, hey, we're all novices here, and we need you to hold our hand if necessary and make sure we're not doing anything that missing something that we should be at. So that's all my update is regarding that.
Thank you. Okay, that closes out for, agenda item 4, new business. We'll continue on with, agenda item 5, unfinished business, 5H. Receive updates and take appropriate action on office organization, FEMA grants, and IT projects.
No, on the FEMA grants, I've done everything that possibly to be done, and I haven't heard back. You know, I do stuff and then I get these nightmare emails about, oh, well, we need this and that. Everything. And I think we got everything, so I'm just waiting for the money. We're looking at our bank account every day, looking for that deposit, but I'll let everybody know when that happens. On the IT projects, I got an email from our consultants, our computers have arrived, they're getting them set up now, and hopefully they'll come out and get us set out. They'll come here, hopefully, this week and get us everything migrated over to the new computer from the old computer, and then we'll be set up. And of course, it's just as a reminder, city has bought one desktop computer to replace that one. So we'll have 2 old ones. Ask them how the best way to get rid of those are. And then we have 1 laptop that I will use and I will take home, because I do almost all my work at home, and then it will just have city business. Then whenever a new treasurer is hired, then that treasurer would have that, just like that's the mayor's computer. And I think, you know, it'd be a lot better. I think people, I don't know how many, but I've heard from some people that they're having trouble with Outlook, you know, being set up, slowing down their computer. I'm having that problem on my desktop, which is pretty old. So Lisa will make that problem, and you're having a problem on the desktop in there, right?
Well, I come to turn it on and it takes forever to even bring it up, like a long time.
Yeah. So these issues should be resolved. And when I talk to the consultant, he says, yes, you know, to properly run these, like Microsoft 365 and all the stuff that they have on it that we're using, you really need an up-to-date. So I'm real excited about that. They're also working on the website. I was a little disappointed that hadn't been finished yet, but sure they got them. That's good for them. It means they're busy with other people too. So that's my update on the IT projects.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much. Closing that agenda item out, we can move on to 5I, receive updates and take appropriate action regarding upgrades to the city of Hayes and Elliott Ranch pump site.
Zach, who's our main PQMS worker, he gave me some updates and of course, when you talk computer, water system, language, it's, I don't catch everything correctly, but the pump stations, some things have been done and some haven't. Has talked to Dee Wright, who, as you know, is the president. She's the treasurer of the HOA Elliott Ranch, but she's the one that, you know, kind of spearheads things over there. He talked to her, which is good. And then I did get an email this evening from Zach saying that they were having some problems with well number 1 at Elliott Ranch, and he was going to kind of keep on top of it. He sent the email to Don and myself, and I just replied to thank him. It was going okay for now, but you know, he's just kind of saying there was, you know, it's not operating just the way it is. And I copied the mayor and Roxanne on that email.
Is that the one that was sucking sand?
No, it didn't talk to me.
How many do they have in Elliott Ranch?
Huh?
2, and 1 is
Well, number 1.
given trouble.
And right now we're providing water to Oak
Forest
Forest.
still?
Yes. Well, they have
Why is that?
Why is that?
Another emergency?
another emergency,
Why?
and
We're selling them water and
I'm selling them water, yeah. So of course, if we had major problems
Yeah.
with us, it would be.
we only have 1 well.
Huh?
We only have 1 well. We do have major problems. We
Well,
only have one
here,
well.
we do have 2 wells. Anyways, that's my update on that.
So, can you send me a copy of the report?
Sure.
Based on the web level? What kind of problems I have?
Yeah, I'll be happy to.
Okay.
That's not good.
All right, moving on to 5J, receive updates and take appropriate action on proposal number 3. Country line.
Well, number 3 is a new well that we hope to drill. Don told me tonight that, or today, that everything had been sent to, I think, TCEQ. Mayor had to sign a document, and there was another document from I think a surveyor that worked out there. He paid a fee of $2,000 for. And so all that's been sent to TCEQ. He said it'd probably be a couple of weeks. I thought couple months back that we done everything.
Yeah.
And approved, but that was probably another agency. So that was his update.
Wasn't he supposed to get a couple of names of drillers that, and how much they
He
charge?
didn't talk about drills. He didn't talk
Okay.
about. So this is like, this step has to be completed before we do the driller, but
Any idea of the time frame on that?
he said a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll finish off with last, not least, agenda item 5K. Chief updates and take appropriate action regarding the installation of generators for the city of Hayes and Elliott Ranch Gold sites.
And my point, we've not heard anything from FEMA or TDM. TDM is the state agency, and about our grant, and so there's no update. Just I do have good contact now. The mayor of San Leanna works for our consultant that somehow got hired for managing the grant with FEMA. Adura is the name of the company. She's an engineer there. She's very nice and very helpful. And Sandiana is also has a grant application in for a generator, but they're waiting too, like all of us. So what I've learned about these grants is they need to improve it, the whole process. It's really, well, you can believe the websites how what a nightmare they are.
That's not do that on purpose.
All right, well, thank you so much. This concludes our December 11th, 2023 regular city council meeting. Time is 7.
Good job, everyone.
And we will adjourn.
Come a long way. Yeah, remember the days when we were fighting